Obviously the anniversary of Brian Lara, his 400. Clearly an amazing achievement, one that I would find very hard to see beaten, and his pure appetite for runs and big scores is shown throughout his career, and the achievements and records that he's broken and still holds is truly incredible, and I think inspires so many young players and all current players to improve and want to be better. So happy anniversary.
I think firstly, people don't necessarily understand the gravity of how hard it is to score 400. The fact that he managed to score 400 without being dismissed at all, to be able to go that length of time with focus and without making a mistake is absolutely incredible. And I think it stands a testament to the man himself and how he went about his game and how he set the benchmark for what was to come in previous years. And obviously the game has changed a little bit now since then, but the record of 401 I think will probably stand the test of time.
Yeah, I think it's one of obviously the greatest knocks in Test cricket, and it's still a world record, and I think a world record that would probably be quite tough to beat. But I actually watched a couple of highlights of it recently, and I remember sort of how easy he just made it look. I think he was hitting the off spinner, he was bowling over the wicket and he was just dancing down and hitting him over the side screen, almost ball after ball. So it was really cool to watch it. I was quite young when it happened, but it's awesome then to have him now in this environment, and to be able to learn from someone like that is one of the biggest blessings, I suppose, as a batter. So we're picking his brain quite a bit, and all our management and Brian definitely in his own right is legends of the game, and it's really cool to have them here with us and for us to be able to learn from them.
Today is the day when Brian sir created the history by scoring 400 runs in an innings, and I haven't watched it live, but still I have watched it so many times on YouTube, and he's now our coach, and we can't ask for more because we all know he's a legend. And I just want to congratulate on this anniversary of his 400 runs inning, and thanks for inspiring me and inspiring all of us.
You're a youngster in a West Indies cricket team trying to establish yourself, and playing against England, which is, as you know, our colonial masters back how many ever years ago. It was always the battle that I wanted to be in as a youngster. Watching West Indies play cricket, playing against England was like our number one foe. So actually to go out there in Antigua in 1994 and break Sir Garfield Sober's record was a tremendous achievement. We won the series, which was even more important, but I think that it was awesome as a 24-year-old. One day you want to establish yourself as an international cricketer, and the next day you are on a stage that pretty much all eyes are on you. I remembered it like if it was yesterday. I was in Jamaica, I think it was the month of October, and my lawyer called me and he said, I have a number for you to call. I said, why? It's 3-4 o'clock in the morning in Jamaica. He said, Matthew Hayden just broke your record. So I got the number, I think it was for the dressing room at the time, and I gave Matthew a call, congratulated him. And at that time, I actually felt that, you know what, this is an opportunity as the West Indies captain to really establish yourself as a leader. For the last 9 or so years, I've always been like the world double record holder, and it sort of weighed very heavily on my shoulders. So I actually didn't take it on. I didn't think sadly about it. I was very happy for Matthew, and I felt I can get on with my career. 10 years was, or 9 years at the time, 9.5 years was pretty much a good run for a world record at that time. So England was coming again to the Caribbean, and obviously my concentration as a captain was more on, can we beat England in a test series? Well, first of all, when England arrived, as I said, it was more about how could we win the series. But we found ourselves in a really terrible situation. We lost 3 test matches on a trot for the first time in the Caribbean. I don't know if you want to call it a blackwash or a whitewash, but England had the final test match in Antigua. If they won that test match, it would be the first time the West Indies were ever beaten in every single test match in the Caribbean. How could I think about 400? I had 100 runs in 3 test matches in 6 innings, averaging 16 point whatever that is. But it was not on my mind. I just felt that, yes, I was getting into some form. I played in Barbados. I got a couple of days. I got knocked about around the body by Andrew Flintoff and Hamilton and those guys. But I felt, yeah, there was some form coming in, and I could maybe play a part in us not losing the test match to lose the series 4-0. What turned into a good start on the first day turned into an even better second day for me. And obviously, I mean, history says it all. I mean, I went on to get 400. It was a wonderful achievement. Would I give it away for us winning the series? Yes, I would have given it away at the time. But the fact that to get to that total again, having done it 10 years earlier, I think it was a little bit easier, because as a 24-year-old, you sort of, I remember that day like if it was yesterday. I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning. I went to play golf. I couldn't sleep. I was really anxious. But 10 years later, in 2004, having done that before, you're very calculated. You know what to do. You're much older. And the experience, I suppose, tell. But yeah, I mean, we didn't win the test match. But the fact that we drew the test match and England was not able to whitewash us, blackwash us, whatever the case may be, I felt that it was a job well done. To get back the world record, as I said earlier on, it was not on my mind, but to be the first person to score 400 runs in a test match or test innings, I was very proud of that occasion. You hear a lot about like a Sachin Tendulkar and I think it was Vinod Kamble scoring records when they were in school. When I played school cricket in Trinidad and Tobago, it was more about like limited overs, so I never really had the opportunity to bat for 2 days or 3 days. You know, it was very short. And so I entered international cricket, not even scoring a double century in first class cricket. And I remember the first time I did that was in Sydney in 1993. And after scoring 100, it was a little bit of a rain break. And I came off the field and my coach said to me, "Your next inning starts at 0. I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, go out there and stay there. You're in form, you're seeing the ball, don't get out." And I went on to score 277, and I just sort of fell in love with scoring big. That was the occasion I felt, well, every time I walked out to bat, it wasn't about scoring 50 or 100, it was batting for as long as possible. And for me, that's, as I said, I fell in love with batting. I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to give anyone the opportunity to you know, sort of benefit from the foundation that I laid. And if I was to speak to any young batsman, especially playing test cricket or any form of cricket, it could be T20, 50 overs, when you have a job as a batsman, you go out and you finish it. You don't take what you feel is your share and you're happy with it. You've got to play, it's a team sport, and you've got to play it to the best of your ability. You've got to make sure that you're the man there at the end of the day. And I felt that for me, batting was all about that. You had to make sure and put your team in a winning position every single time you went out to bat. Yeah, so that's a question I've been asked since 375, mid-90s. Who is going to break your record? Of course, Sir Garfield Sobers broke the record in 1958. 36 years later, I got the record. So everyone felt that, you know, this is going to be difficult to break. But I feel because of cricket at the time and the way how the batsmen were batting, obviously the likes during my playing days, the likes of Sehwag and Jayawardene, Jayasuriya, I always felt that those guys had an opportunity to break the world record. Even Chris Gayle, who scored 2 triple centuries. Now it's 400. I still feel it's going to be broken. I still feel at some point in time some youngster is going to have the ability to do so. I felt that the Virat Kohli, maybe it's kind of late. Obviously now there are a lot of results in test match cricket where teams are not as strong, so it has to be the right situation as well. You know, destiny. Everything's got to play in your hands to score a 400 or to score a 501. So for me, it's hard to name a present day cricketer, but I feel someone who understands or has an aggressive approach to batting can do it. And if I was to pick anyone, as I said, it's got to be a match where it's set up for that situation, but maybe a KL Rahul, I'd be the one to do so.